Let's do a special effect called You and Me. Take out the pack of cards, and they can be shuffled by the spectator. We're starting off from an impromptu situation, and we can just go like that. So they are all mixed up, and every card is which way, and then we can actually get into this routine, as you can see. So what we do is we'll split the deck into two piles for me and the spectator, and the spectator can choose either packet. It's not a force, free choice. So let's say they take this pile. So they can take it and they can mix it up however they want. I mix in my packet and they are going haphazard on theirs, doing whatever they want. I am just going crazy with this to make sure it looks quite fair that they mix up their packet. And I'm just finishing up mixing my own. And so they mix it theirs, I mix it mine. So what we'll do is we swap packets. And in this case, instead of shuffling the cards, you can actually look through each of the packets to see that every card is as it should be. No trick cards, gap cards, or anything of that nature. And you can see the same for my packet as well. Good? Good. So, there we go, there we go. And so the spectator's holding on to their packet, I'm holding on to mine. And now we're going to do this with a spectator and we guide them through this. Believe it or not, spectators can do this next phase. I'm going to train you to be a magician, okay? But first we have to realize, after shuffling all these cards all these times, if you can pass the test. So here's what we're going to do. Spectator follows along with me. We're going to push off some cards and they're going to flip the packet face up. And they do so as well. They're doing this, not me. They do so like that. And then we're going to go past face up cards into the face down cards. They do so and they turn over the packets. As I do, so do they. And now I want you to deal the first face down card you see. And so mine will be right there. And theirs will be right here. And now you have to consider all the mixing that went into this, all the shuffling, and all the randomization and landing on a random card. Now, there would be no exact same card because we don't use duplicates in this deck of cards. But there is a small chance, a minuscule small chance of them matching. But then again, the same two mates, like 7 of spades and 7 of clubs, could be in the same pack and tricks null and void. So here is a real test to see if you're a magician. They can turn over theirs first, and their card is the 4 of hearts. Now this is crazy, and it's a little test if you're a magician. If I can turn over my card, and we match as well. 4 hearts to 4 diamonds. Beautiful, beautiful. You passed the first test, I would say to the young spectator, young soon-to-be magician. So they've passed the first test, and so now the spectator is a fully fledged magician at this point. So let's have some fun with it. Now we pass these cards along to another spectator, and they can shuffle it however they wish and mix up the cards as much as they want. It's their fancy. So we got me, magician right here, soon-to-be magician, and we're going to have some fun. They divide, the other spectator divides the pack into 2. You can see they're not exactly even, but we're going to go for it anyways. As a nice common courtesy gesture, I give the larger packet to the magician in training, and I'll take the smaller one. So we're both going to have a card selected in each a unique manner, as you can see, like so. And they're all different. It's not the same card over and over again, as I always love to stress. So the magician in training spectator has goes to a random spectator and has a card selected, and they remove this one. So let me show it to the audience. Just a random one. We'll use that one. The other magician has a card selected, and I will have one selected as well. The spectator can be as choosy as they like. I say point to anyone you want. They go back a bunch and they end up on this one. Hopefully you can see it. So this one is the one they selected, and this is the one the other magician has selected. Now, to make it a much more of a challenge, what we'll do is we'll swap cards and have them replaced to make it a little bit more interesting. So we'll get this one that the other person has selected, and we'll mix up inside this packet. And then we'll make a challenge for the other person, and they can have it shuffled up inside their packet. And so they really, really mix it up inside there so it's all chaotic in there, as you can see. And I don't want to give this, the magician in training, any advantages whatsoever. So if there was any small advantage he had, let's change it up. So we'll swap packets. Sounds good. So we're going to swap packets, and the magician in training can go with me, checking through to make sure every card. Actually, so far, my magician in training has done a pretty good job. So please, can you give him a round of applause? Just give him a real round of applause. He's been doing so good so far with this whole effect. I feel like he deserves a real round of applause. So they get around, they spread the cards. You can see everything's up and on the up and up. And now we're going to do the same thing as we had done before. We spread out through the cards, and we turn it up. And they do so as well. They're doing this in their hands, not mine. They do so as well. Then we go past the face up into the face down. We flip it on over, and they do so as well. Maybe sometimes they have a little bit of trouble. We flip everything over, just help them along. And wow, 10 of hearts, 10 of diamonds. That's cool. You never see us matching. It's like we're in sync or something. Now we go up into from the face up and deal the first face down card we see, just like before. And they deal the first face down card they see. We can set their card aside. Now, we don't know how we did, and this is, I'm telling this to magician training. We don't know how we did, so we always put a big smile and always hope for the best. Sounds good? There you go, sounds good. So pick up your card, and then pick up yours. And so they're holding onto their card, I'm holding onto mine. The cards are named out loud, and they are the, what was it? Queen of Hearts and Two of Diamonds. And with a big round of applause, if we make it, the Queen of Hearts. And for my magician training, the Two of Diamonds. Thank you so much. This is you and me. We got a fully fledged magician over here that just became a magician. Everyone give him a big round of applause. We thank you for your time and hope you have a good one. Thank you. Hello everyone, Dan here, back with another edition of Jam Sessions with my main set, my top 15 routines I'm publishing publicly. Oh geez. So, let's get into it. Today we're going to be covering yet another card trick. This time you and me. I believe I posted a performance on this in the previous one. I'm attaching them all together, don't worry about it. And so it allows for a lot of freedom in this routine. So the cards, as usual with almost all my routines, are start out shuffled. Borrowed, whatever, I don't care, we're shuffling this. Coronavirus, you shuffle your own cards, no one will judge you. Okay, if they do, I'm just like, do you want to shuffle them? Do you want to take the risk of Corona? I don't think so. I'm being bold today. So here's what we're going to do. In the beginning version, what we do is we look for a pair. So I look for a pair that's kind of close by, and I spread through the cards, and like a pair meaning like hearts and diamonds or clubs and spades close together in close vicinity. So when spreading through the cards, I immediately notice that there is a 3 of diamonds and a 3 of hearts close together, separated by 2 of spades. And I go for this one. I'm like, this is the one I'm going to lock on to. So I can just cull out the 2 of spades, and I can cull it underneath, reverse culling underneath. So I just, so where it's currently is right here, and I can just cull it and then put it underneath the 3 diamonds. And then with these 2 3s now just together, I casually just cut it to the top. Do that, so in a casual way. Point is, you want to get these 2 3s to the top. You can just separate them out and just get a pair to the top, okay? In this example, using the 3 of hearts and 3 diamonds. Okay, so now what we do is we separate the pack into 2 piles, and we do a slip cut. It goes by everyone, including magicians. You slip it, so the top card, so you get 1 3 on each pile. It looks like this, middle finger thumb, lifting off half the pack, thumb slips the top card off onto the pile, and we do this. That's what looks in slow motion, revealing it. So now we got a 3 on each pile. In regular motion, I usually cover with misdirection. First I get the break, before I do the move, and say I want it to be a fair choice for you. I gesture to them, and as I come back I casually separate them, doing the slip cut, so there's 1 on each. And I said, I want you to have a free choice. So really, choose either packet you want. Free choice. And I'm not going to restrict you. And it isn't. It really is a free choice because they both have the 3 on there. So let's say they take this one. All right, I'll take this one. And now we proceed to shuffle the cards. Now with coronavirus, I mean, this trick is more meant for nowadays because of coronavirus, for the post-coronavirus days. But we'll do it anyway. So we shuffle the cards on off. So right now this one's on top, and I shuffle it to the bottom, doing an overhand shuffle. So right now it's on bottom. Maybe I do a quick other shuffle, and it's depending on how much focus I put into the shuffle. I do a total of 3 shuffles if I have enough time. So the first one, if I'm going to do it face up for you, first one, shuffle it to the bottom. I may do a quick little one, and then the third shuffle is shuffling the card from the bottom back to the top. Shuffling the cards singly in the overhand. There we go. You got it back on top. If they do it fast or just do a quick cut or shuffle whatever, then you can just shuffle it from the top to the bottom and then just do one of these and you're set. Meanwhile, the spectator can shuffle however they want, and you can really lose a 3 inside there and we'll recover it, no worries. All we need to know is that the 3 is in there. I have no idea where the 3 is at, but we're good there. So we shuffle the 3 on top, and what makes this logical and why you don't have to worry is I say, now we switch packets. So we swap packets. So now their 3 is set up, and now I need to set up my 3. And it's during the do as I do phase. And the way I get the 3 is I say spread through the cards, look through them, make sure there's nothing tricked about them, and this adds a little bit of fairness. This is what spectators actually want. They want to be able to see it after they shuffle them to make sure there's no trick cards. This is what they want, surprisingly. And while you give them what they want, you sneak in your own agenda in on this. You say you make sure everything's fair, and you can do 2 gestures. Well, what I usually do is I just I see a 3 of hearts, the matching card of the 3. And so since you're only gesturing saying just look through, they won't shuffle them, they won't cut them. And he says, no, just don't do that, bro. Come on, just look through. We're just looking through them right now. And then they won't. Unless they're a magician, they're an asshole. Not calling out any of my friends. So going back, we got the 3. We can cull it to the top and get it right to the top. That's one way. Another way, and this was the old days with my friend Sean, we'd spread it through, and then we'd separate at this point, covering the 3 underneath the spread, and say, I just want you to see that everything's fair and above board as we do this, and then taking the pile with the 3 that was originally right here, and now that you've done the gesture, you put underneath the other packet, and then turn it over, putting that 3 on top. So those are 2 ways to go about that. So now there's a 3 there, there's a 3 already there, and you're all set to do the next phase. And it's like the turnover force. I can't remember what kind of force it is. It's just like it's not the rollover force, but you do kind of roll over the cards. It's like a stop force. I don't know. Anyway, so we just push off the cards. And the reason I don't know the exact name is because it went by so many names. I'm not sure which one it actually is. Truly. So you push off the cards like so, and you gesture to the spectator. I'm going to push off cards like this. You do the same, and they're doing it as well. They're mimicking you. And whenever you want, just flip over all the cards. Now, believe it or not, spectators can actually do this. And this is something I do with the spectators. They're doing this, and they just, like that, and they go, yeah, just flip it over like that. Okay. Now, push, I'm very specific about my wording, because that's important. Now, push past face-up cards into the face-down ones, and they do so, and then turn everything over, and they may get confused. Take everything, and flip it on over, and you gesture to them, and they see it, and then they can do it. So they're like this. Yeah, take everything, not just those cards, everything. Flip it over. And they're like, good. And so you get to create a randomization because they're doing the thing and it's out of your hands and they're creating a random idea. Final part, because of the force, we know that the first face down card is the 3. And so is in their case. They're setting themselves up for their own, they're forcing their own mate, which is cool. Now the final instruction is go past face up cards into the face down and deal the first face down card you see. And you do so, and then they do so. And they do it. They never square up the cards. You just like to set them aside. They'll mess up. It doesn't matter. Show your hands empty and create all fairness. And we just wait and we say, it's pretty idea how random or pretty cool how random all the cards were. There's mates that could be in the same pile like 2 of spades, 2 of clubs, or jack of spades, jack of clubs, or the hearts and diamonds. And the idea is that we want to first test if you're ready to become a magician. And that's what I usually say in the beginning. I forgot to mention it. But I usually say in the pattern line, I want to see if you're ready to become a magician. And here's the litmus test. Now, if the cards, you know, considering all the odds, if the cards match, that's pretty narrow odds. So let's see how we did. Turn over your card, they turn over theirs, and they say 3 diamonds. And you can say to them, that holds absolutely no meaning whatsoever. And you pause. Unless that's what I predicted all along. And then they match, and that is pretty cool. And that's amazing. And this was originally just the effect. That was a small little card trick, but it was really, really wonderful, and people loved it. And it was something I would do for people. I thought that was it. Then, lo and behold, I was inspired by a cowboy girl at, just by her performance. She was amazing at Fox and Hounds, back when it was open before coronavirus. I feel so bad for the place. I love it to death. I want to go to a concert. I want to go to their like Sunday concerts. I miss it. I've just been so busy. I want to go so bad. Anyways, I was inspired by this one girl. I think her name was Courtney. I couldn't remember. By her performance. I was so inspired that I created a card trick that same night, just based off that performance and how she amazed me. And I called it, I forgot what I called it. Courtney's card trick. Something. And then it was its own effect. This part 2 to this. And then I credit Trenton, basically my brother Trenton, who, non-biological brother, by the way, who actually says, why don't you combine them both? And I'm like, that's genius. So now it gives up part 2, which is kind of different, but they transition to very well, where the spectator becomes a magician. And transitions from the do as I do to something even more. So the part 2 is what we're going to cover now. I get excited about it. So now the cards can be shuffled again by a spectator, and say you're ready to become a magician. This, you know all you need to know, which sounds bold for the other person, but you really do have them do a whole card trick, which is great. You never get to see this. This is so cool. It's not like those cheap magic suits where they put them around the person on stage, and then you're doing all the magic, and they pretend to get all the credit and it looks dorky. They actually do it, and it's cool. I love it. So the cards be shuffled, and then they can be shuffled by another spectator. And the person you did before on the litmus test is now going to be the magician with you, which is great. And they don't know how it works. It's so great. So they shuffle it, and then they cut into 2 about even piles. Doesn't even have to be perfect. They're doing most of the work. It's so great. And you're just organizing the chaos. It's so cool. So they say, take whichever one you want. They really can. Does not matter. There's no mates to this because we're just selecting cards. I'll tell you how we do it as we go along. So now we have a card touched. So we go across like so. And you know, actually say the spectator, we're going to have both cards selected, and you can see that's a really fair mix. Yes? Okay? And so you can, and then as you casually, there's many ways to get a peek, but you need to get a peek on the 3rd card from the top. In my case, the King of Spades, I could just say, and we're all good, card's all good. They look through, and then they say, okay, now we're going to have a card selected. And what you can do is actually force a card on someone. But it seems like it's a regular pick card thing. And we're going to use the spread call force popularized by John Guastafaro. I hope I didn't butcher his name. John Guastafaro? Love you. You're awesome. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to call the 3rd card from the top, and then we're going to have the spectator point to a card, and as they point to one, we can casually show it to them, and then give it out to them. And that looks like, basically, in the spectator's mind, they selected one. Or in another case, you can do my kind of colon enforcing technique where you say this. So we spread on through, we have it cold. They say, you point to this one, okay. And we switch it out underneath, you swap it out, and they can take it immediately. And that is the force card, the King of Spades. Okay, and so we need to force that card and have intel on what that one is. And then the spectators just literally doing a card trick, having a random card selected, which is so cool. You get to be so free about this. And you don't have any idea what this is. The spectators go over there. Like, cool. And I say to make it a challenge, but we're not, don't worry. We say, and to make it a little bit harder, we're going to swap spectators and put the cards back. So they're over here, and I'm over here. You don't have to worry about this card because you actually know what it is. This one we don't, and we need to control it. Okay? So we have the card put back, toss back, you show it. You could get a peek on it, but it's not necessary. We're just going to control to the top. We can do the spread pass thing. You could do a double undercut, whatever, to control that card to the top. Okay, now we know it's 10, in this case 10 hearts. I'm just going to know what it is so I can guide the situation better in case I lose it. But so we put it back and we can control it to whatever position. And this one could just be lost inside the pack, and then you have the magician shuffle it, or even the audience member can shuffle it. It doesn't matter. You already know it's the king of spades. Okay, there we go. It is mixed up, and you've mixed up the cards, but you controlled the other selection to the top. So we got king of spades here, 10 of hearts here. Okay, we swap piles. I said I don't want to give you any advantages. It sounds like you're just making it difficult on top of difficult on top of difficult. So we're swapping packets. Okay. So the cards have been shuffled, now they're swapped. Seems like there's no way even I can have any control over this. There, the selection, we've controlled it to the top without the spectator having to do that, and it looks like we made it more difficult for them by swapping packs. And then I said, and we're going to continue, but then I hold off, and this is a huge misdirected moment. Say, let's give it this, like the magician in training, right over here, a big round of applause. Okay, and then everyone does so. They're waiting for this. This is what the audience wants to do. They want to give this person an audience a huge round of applause because he or the spectator is going in blind. They don't know anything of what's happening. They think, oh my God, how am I going to do this? This trick's going to totally stink, or the magician's going to save me somehow. They have no idea what it's going to do, and so the audience wants to applaud him for his bravery of going thus far into the routine. And all the meanwhile, because the audience wants that release, so it's a tension release, and so everyone's relaxed, no one's looking, and while it happens, I casually cull or cut the king of spades to the top, and no one notices, which is kind of nice. I'd recommend just culling if you can, because it's just so much easier. And before I even do anything else, just gives audience member a round of applause. They deserve it. And then everyone does a little thing, and then I casually cull the king of spades to the top. Okay. And now, so both selections, they spread through their cards if they want. They can see nothing, but they don't cut or shuffle because we got it there. And in most cases, in my actual performances, I don't know what this card is. Okay, and in case you mess up, you do just one color change away, a cull and a color change from fixing it. Oh, let's say it's the 6 of diamonds. So it wasn't 10 of hearts. So it was 6 diamonds. You just cull it, and then just do whatever shapeshifter, whatever you want, and get to that card to fix yourself. But in this case, we know it's a 10 of hearts. We're good. So we now do the same thing as before. We do the same thing as before. Push off a couple cards, reverse it, and now they're well versed in it. Push off a couple cards, reverse it, and then deal down the first face down card you see, and they know what to expect. Reverse, reverse, and then deal to the table. And they set those aside. Okay, and we leave it with a very pure image that they did this, and we didn't really have an influence on this, even though we've been controlling things from behind the scenes. We get excited. I say, okay, you ready? They go, yeah. Take your card. Take your card. Okay. So they're holding on to their card. We're holding on to ours. Ours. So each other's. Then the spectators hold on to this one. So then we say, for the first time, can you both name your cards out loud? And I point to both of them, and they name it. They say 10 hearts, king of spades. I look at the spectator, king of spades, and turn over yours, the 10 of hearts. And you get a huge round of applause. Everyone's freaking out, and even the audience members surprised. They're like, how the hell did I do that? It's not like you're revealing anything, you're not. They get to feel like they take all the credit and they don't even know how they did it. And then long after, the spectators are just talking about this trick. I swear to you, this is what they talk about for like 5 minutes straight. It's just almost to the point of bullshit. And it's one of my favorite effects, and it's going to be a part of my actual main act. But just because I don't want to overlap other effects, it's like the main of my side set. If I'm doing walk around, I got a table. This is what I do. You and me. This is the card trick, you and me. It's one of my absolute favorites. I go crazy over it. This is why it's in my top 15. It is just the best. Okay? I don't know how to overstress it enough. Understress. I don't know. I don't care. I hope you enjoyed it. This is you and me. This is one of my most guarded effects. I really, hope you enjoyed. Thank you.